Previously on the Crypt Revue! I got burned at the stake and buried one time, and when I woke up, the first thing I did was check my phone to find only 3 hours had passed, my ass was still having to go to work that day, and my crypto investments had lost value. Her crypto investment journey was already unengaging, uninteresting, and thoroughly unsatisfying. And on tonight's daring adventure!
The juicy benefits are nice and all, but for me, a handful of crypto coins is all I need.
Just a quick administrative thing before we begin. For the past 2 months, I've had this cut on my lip that anytime I smile, eat, yawn, or as my favorite pastime is, exist miserably, it rips the fuck open. So I really can't put a bunch of makeup on my face that will make me scrub it and rip it open myself. So maybe we'll do some, of my fancy, famous color grading. And for your consideration and your politeness in helping me out through this trying time, can I offer you some refreshment? Developed by Fatbot Games, launched into early access on January 22nd in the year of our darkest timeline 2025, Gravelord hit the ground to almost no fanfare as far as I have seen. Literally none. The only video I think I've seen on Gravelord was I think Mayo made a video on it, and I think that might have been Graven. I didn't watch. Anyway, today's look into early access was provided via the generosity of... Yes, I'm going to say it, you bitch! Friend of the channel, Emily Dracula spelled backwards. She has shit taste, but when it comes to boomer shooters, I'm finding it kind of hard to argue with her ability to pick them. That may be putting the cart before the horse, but we won't be here for a long time, so let's put our dicks away and dive headfirst into this gorilla den. So I like roguelikes, and I like boomer shooters, and up to this game's release, I had yet to find a game that combines them in a way I can say is truly satisfying, and with this game's release, that really hasn't changed. What single roguelike element the game features actually sucks and changes very little in the grand scheme, despite sounding like it will make a huge impact. Don't be fooled, it really doesn't. You play as Quito, a gravedigger working on behalf of death itself to provide graves for the dead and return any who decided hell was just too boring to them. Taking the classic neon green horror steampunk aesthetic that I just love and combining it with all the humor that tickles my tism, there is nothing bad about the level design or gunplay, and I mean that. There's an issue I will get into, but levels are massive labyrinths looping around and through each other, creating absolutely classic Days of Our Quake Lives experience, just without the bunny hopping or rocket jumps. And if there are rocket jumps, I couldn't figure them out. Level locations have a fantastic variety, though some of said variety will get lost in the gunplay haze when every cement brick looks like a cement brick from any other level. Sure, you're not getting a completely new aesthetic and architecture per level, but each one contains a clearly different locale with level design to match it. Whatever the fuck that city was called, I don't quite remember, is laid out and functions entirely different from the graveyard, which is built in no way similar to the catacombs or the tower/cathedral thingy at the end. Being that it will play slower due to not focusing on movement tech, a lot more effort is put into giving each level its own design identity that is really only hampered by the over-reliance on key hunting. Yes, we get it, keys are a staple of the genre and have been since day one, but when every level features me walking past 3 locks before picking up my first key, I start to wonder if you're actually experimenting or just making Quake mods. It's not bad, mind you, but being that it's early access and the first chapter, I want to stress, just in case the devs ever see this, that you do need to experiment beyond what already exists, just with your own flavor slapped on top. What good does it do you to learn how to develop in Unity, just for you to make Quake with less movement tech? It's an issue I expressed with Hellbound way back in the day. You can't just make games that are like the way they used to be, you have to actually do something with what you have. A big reason I want to stress that is because this game has a grappling hook, but said grappling hook has no utility. In fact, Quito doesn't actually have a grappling hook. It's a power-up that you must collect each level, and levels are designed to have a certain point at which you unlock it. Further, it can't be used on enemies, and what few arenas and encounters that have grapple points only have them to help the player quickly escape a horde that the encounter will spawn. You will only use the grappling hook when and where the game is specifically built for you to use it to continue completing the level. Which means that it's not a grappling hook at all. It's another fucking key. Magenta key, blue key, yellow key, I think there was green and red keys even, and now a grappling hook which will serve the exact same purpose and no other purpose? That's fucking terrible. Yes, careful consideration of when in each level it will be given to the player will change the level's identity to set it apart from others, but when it's acting only as a glorified key, you're not actually doing anything different from what games did previously. A big problem I had with Coven was that it mixed Quake and Unreal, but really didn't do anything with what it had, and it just felt like Quake with modded levels and weapons. It struggled to make its unique aspects a focal point, and just in case those devs are watching, maybe consider handling the magic the way Undying did. I don't know. But where Gravelord is at is more like Proteus. Do you remember Proteus? I never went back to it. Yeah, never did. After that video, that was the last time I touched it. Never played it again. It's Doom 2016, but an indie game. It's not using Doom 2016's ideas and building their own thing, it's just fucking Doom 2016, but indie. A per level power up to get a double jump or triple jump that doesn't actually gain height, or turning a grapple hook into a glorified key, or adding a useless roguelike element won't set you apart from your predecessors, or even your contemporaries. If your game looks like an amazing mod of the Quake remaster, I can't recommend it when there's a price tag attached. Which really fucking sucks to say, because the game is balls to the wall, boomer shooter action, and it wants to absolutely blast your asshole wide open, and gives you just absolutely god-ending Uno reverse cards, no pun intended. You can see the core foundations of their level design philosophy at play, and it's pure disciple of our Lord and Savior Ron Jamero, monster closet ambushes, horde ambushes, certain super heavy nightmares always spawning in twos, a massive focus on just doing exceedingly cool shit, and what the fuck is cooler than explosions, tits, and a big fucking sword? Or in this case, a shovel. Die-ka-shovel. John Romero's about to make you his gardener. Dig it. But yes, it's always fun to be able to see the cogs at work when you know how to see them, but sometimes the game is a little too reliant on its cogs and they make themselves overly known. More than thrice, I entered a room and knew not only that I was about to be ambushed, but exactly where it was going to come from just by the layout of that room alone. It gets a little trite, is what I'm getting at. It's one of the reasons things like grappling hooks can't just be a glorified key. If I can see every inspiration you have, but can't get a vision for what your vision is, it's gonna struggle. So you really have to figure out what your vision is, and in future levels and chapters, expand what there is to be able to fulfill it. I really don't want to sit here loving it, but having no idea where it's going, only to find out that it's just Quake, but with a cartoonish horror aesthetic. It's currently $20, and I already own Quake! Also, you should probably get rid of the breath mechanic. There's not enough going on in the water in this game to justify it, and having a power-up that increases breath and makes me swim faster just feels like a cop-out to make me take damage just because I had the audacity to play that portion of your level. Finally, much like Incision and why have you stupid bitches not played Incision yet, each level can be pistol started. Later levels are going to kick the absolute fuck out of you when it's 10 super heavies and a horde of shotgunners, but it's still 100% doable with plenty of extra resources to make a few mistakes scattered throughout. Though, levels are a little front-loaded. Health pickups tend to peter out as the levels get harder, but at a ridiculously higher rate than really anything that came before. They almost drop off entirely. The game is a tough one, it really is. Come to conquer or be conquered. And speaking of jibbing the hordes of the underworld, all your staples are here! Hit it!
This goes through armor, then it goes through the victim, through the wall, through a tree outside.
It's an 88 Magnum. It shoots through schools.
Yeah. Yeah, my South is rising again. Anyway, you only get 6 weapons, but other guns are instead added as a secondary fire option. The ship's cannon, that is your grenade launcher, gains an alt fire to shoot 3 rockets. The lightning gun's alt fire is the BFG 10,000. Not the 9,000, the 10,000, there's a difference. You're not getting anything you haven't seen before, but you're getting thoughtful and badass use out of them. Enemies are mostly undead and demons, but with steampunk horror. The ogres had been turned into big daddies with a much higher fire rate, shamblers are wendigos, and there's even beholders and mini violators because, fuck it, Spawn. It's appropriately badass, partnered with a great aesthetic for the weapon models, and a good variety of enemies who remix the tropes for an insane experience that at the very least has its own unique flavor. The devs decided the alt fire needed to have a 5-second cooldown, and it's a global cooldown. Use the rocket alt fire? Well, now you have to wait 5 seconds to use the shotgun's alt fire. Now, my delicious little deviants, why the fuck do you think they would do that? To encourage the use of the roguelike features and pick up the ability to burn health to alt fire more often. No thanks! And that's really it. Combat is combat. The encounter design is absolutely fantastic and escalates in satisfying, intense ways, but it doesn't go anywhere we haven't been a million times, which is why I'm harping on not just wearing your inspirations on your sleeve, but giving me an actual reason to give you $20 other than, hey, I like Quake, you like Quake, take my money. And since I brought it up, let's talk about that roguelike element. Element. Singular. Well, in each level you will find cards with a level between 1 and 3. You only get 1 of each per level, and each carries over per level, so you can keep the one you have if you don't like what you pull from that pickup the next time. % healing, healing a quarter of... Thank you, phone, for going off in the middle of me talking. I hate you. They sound big, and they look like they might... Stop fucking texting me, you son of a bitch! Why didn't I mute you? These can range from plus 25% healing, heal a quarter of shovel strike damage, expend health for ammo, etc. They sound big and they look like they might have some strong synergies, but they really don't. Plus 25% healing means instead of 15 from a pickup, you get 20. 25% of shovel damage healing means you gain 3 HP and add that other one in and it's 4. Healing over 100 health grants armor? Well, you're not going to be healing even up to 100 in later halves of levels. Jibbed enemies drop health? It's like 2 HP and it's a massive resource expenditure to jib an enemy. Spend health for ammo? Well, we already talked about how health becomes worth more than a 50-90 that has all its drops and won't catch fire in the later half of levels, so the juice just stops becoming worth the squeeze. The cards make almost no noticeable change, and they definitely make no meaningful change, and most of the time they feel worthless to take. Why would I want an ability that outside of combat heals me up to 25? At 25, I will die if someone can hit me. Weakest enemies deal less than that, but if they're in a position to harm me, it's because I'm too stupid to notice them and will die before I find them. Unless that one, based on its name, is specifically designed to counter drowning damage. But it's semi-random, and requires me to know water is coming, but to not know how to navigate that portion of the level to get a real benefit from it. But if I know where water is enough to know I'll need that card, then I already know how to navigate that segment, and that's even if the card shows up for a choice I can take to begin with. Worthless. All of them. The only one that makes a valuable change is the level 3 card, which gives your shovel an AoE attack. Just let me have the AoE. Make the cards actually change my playstyle options or dump them entirely. They're a meaningless addition that I don't even want because it means you wasted time making them instead of making meaningful decisions for the game's design. And then there's the soundtrack! We got cartoony horror, we got boomer shooter, we got Victorian steampunk, we got a setting where life and death are preternatural entities and cottage industries, unions and cryptocurrency spouted up around it. We got demons and a drunken burly goon doing his best Duke impression through a Cockney accent. So what do they give us for music? Say it with me, kids, they gave us the GCMR. The generic, clean, metal riffs. Fuck you. Just fuck you. I really want to recommend the game. It plays so fucking good. By the end of the second level, I was worried, but by the end of the third, I was sold. I was absolutely enamored by the end of the fourth, but nothing really expanded after that. Nothing went anywhere I wasn't expecting it to, and nothing new was added, and nothing that was already there was used in a way that gave me any indication that this would be anything other than the Immortal Lock, but like Hotel Transylvania. The roguelike elements are dick balls, and the soundtrack is low-effort, identityless trash, and yet I couldn't put the game down. But is that because I just really like Quake minus a couple mechanics, or because I'm currently in the middle of building a new PC because I have to build an entirely new PC in order to play the new Monster Hunter? You decide if it's somewhere in the middle or not. And if the game weren't given to me through the generosity of a friend, I wasn't going to buy it until it hit full release. Now, having played it, I'm not really in a position to even tell people to wait up until that point. I can't see where it's going that will be any different than what you have in your Steam library already. And that's not a dig at the developers. There just needs to be a vision added to what it can do to make itself special or stand out a little more, or to give us a better vision of where it's going. And for the love of fuck, whatever you do with the roguelike elements, do something real with the grapple hook. Just Another Key is fucking retarded. Quake, but I modded in skins and models from Zombie Bar Simulator doesn't worth my hard-earned money make. I don't pay money for mods. We're way past market saturation in the boomer shooter niche. You're not just competing with what came out last year and what is coming out later this year, you're in the bullpen with shit I reviewed and threw away 5 years ago that was fucking free. Your A game has to be better than stuff that came out at the turn of the decade that literally nobody but me remembers. I'm the TheNecroswanson, and you can go fuck yourselves. Or, as my favorite pastime is, exist miserably.
And now, for your viewing pleasure, the TheNecroswanson existing miserably.
You motherfuckers. You motherfucker. You motherfuckers.
Oh look. He did the thing. Roll credits. Why?